Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. All right, we're feeling alive today. We got some excellent guitar strumming coming up. Alberto's in the house. That's beautiful. We're going to acknowledge some wonderful members of our ecclesiastical team. All right, 5 points. Anybody can spell that? I can barely say it, but we got those kind of people. You know, that's how we important, because we got ecclesiastical people. And we're going to talk about them and acknowledge them later this morning. And there's something else I'm supposed to talk about. Let me see. Like I can read that. Oh, I know what I do want to say. Yeah. The sound bath Friday and April is, we can do it. We go backwards. Yeah, okay. April is National Poetry Month. That's why you have the poem in your hands. Every service this month, will feature a poem. And today's poem, does it make sense? I mean, wouldn't that be the one I would start with? Ode to my socks?
Yeah.
Right? Ode to my socks. Thank you, Madam President. These are from the Collins family. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the metaphysical, spiritual truth of socks, and to help support that conversation, we're just overloaded with important people today.
Yeah.
We have Dr. Sue Rubin in the house. This is like a walk in joy. I wish for all of you to at least have one telephone conversation with Dr. Sue.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's just to talk to her and say, good morning, how are you? Fine, bye. Because the end of a conversation with Dr. Sue Rubin is the most elevating spiritual mind treatment you'll get in your life.
That's right.
It's dynamite. I love this woman so much. Thank you for being here with us to share one of my joys, and that is socks. And one of my other joys is sound baths. And so we're going to have another sound bath. It's coming up on Friday. Please come and invite your friends. This is the invite. There are so many times that we say, bring your friends to the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. And they go, what's that? It's my church. And they glaze over because you know how people are about church. But when they come to our sound bath, they go, whoa, that's cool. You guys do stuff like that? What else do you do cool? Come Sunday and find out. It's a really good, it's like our fur-lined trap. Right? Because they touch that, and it feels so good. They walk out of here like that dog used to eat the crackers and go, and they just walk out of here like that, and they come back the next Sunday, and boom, we got them! You know, I'll close the deal. You bring them in, I will close the deal. Okay, that's my promise to you. That's my promise to you. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so that brings us to, and thank all of you. Thank you for all the text yesterday and the Facebook postings, and I had a wonderful birthday, and it was just fantastic, and a lot of it was because I got so much connection from each and every one of you, and I want to thank you personally right now to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're in the front row. I'm starting at the back of the room. I'm doing all the thank yous back there. And I'll thank all these people over here, and these people right here, and then zip, these people over here, and then you, Ellen. Oh, gosh. I wish for everyone that we could all have this much fun at work. I'm at work. I'm laughing my butt off. You better hold on to it so it doesn't go away. Let's do the vision and mission statement before I get us in a whole bunch of trouble. Here we go, right now. You ready? We're community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God. In gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do. And here's Karen to do it for us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I'd like you to join me in a treatment. I invite you to join me in the stillness. In the stillness that is presence, is life. There is nothing else. It can't act across itself. It can't act against itself. There is no other. There is just this life, flowing through all, being all. And that means it is good. It is always moving everything in an upward evolutionary motion. And this power, it's here right at this instant, expressing as everyone within the range of my voice. All things live, all people live and move and have their being in the divine. And so what I know is that this service is blessed. What I know is that everyone who came here is exactly where they need to be. And what I know is that there is love and joy and learning and peace right in this sanctuary, right here, teaching us, learning us, comforting us, inspiring us. And so I know this service is a recognition that all is good. I am so grateful for Reverend Stephen and the service teams and the sermon itself. I am so grateful for this opportunity to serve. Knowing my word is absolutely true, I release it into law, and it is done, and so it is.
So it is.
Sweet, sweet spirit. I love that song. How about some really sweet spirits, our Cosmic Kids, amazing sweet spirits. We are setting the intention to grow our Cosmic Kid program. To do that and make it actually happen for us, we've decided we need to hire a youth minister. That's going to cost us about $12,000 a year. So we're now building that fund so we can fund the youth minister and then grow an amazing Cosmic Kid program. Hold that intention for us. Know it is true right here and now. Let us know. Let us hear it. And so it is. All right. Karen.
Today's affirmation is, I receive the gift and put it to use, doubling my good, making life twice as nice. Let's say it all together. I receive the gift and I put it to use, doubling my good, making life twice as nice. For the reading, it's from How to Use Your Power by Ernest Holmes. Yes, we do believe in the law of good. The question is, are we using what we believe, or is it merely a good and beautiful theory, the use of which is to be put off to an indefinite future? Affirmative prayer is more than a belief in divine power. Affirmative prayer actually uses divine power, the same power that Jesus used in all those wonderful things he did, and the power he told us that we could use for definite purposes. It was because this power was so real to Jesus, so present with him in his mind, so completely accepted by him, that he used it in such a magnificent manner. It wasn't something vague and indefinite to him. He used it in the only way and place that it can be used, in his own mind and thinking through his own faith and acceptance.
Thank you, Karen. As Reverend Stephen said, we have Alberta Dal Pino with us this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And happy Sunday. Happy Palm Sunday. The first song that I chose for today is a song by Neil Young, and it's called Harvest Moon.
So it's time for our God awareness place meditation. This is the place between the in-breath and the out-breath, that place of stillness. So I invite you to join us in the God awareness place. Sherry will bring you out in 3 minutes with some lovely music.
tell you that I am all appearing. I am all invisible. See me if you can. Everywhere I am.
Thank you, Sherry. That's so beautiful. I know many of you are regular meditators, but if you don't have a regular practice, you might want to consider starting one. The gap meditation is a great place to start.
right, come on back up, Alberto.
And second piece, it's a song that I think everybody knows. It's one of the Beatles' great songs, and it's called "And I Love Her." And I don't know if everybody knows, but the end of "And I Love Her" is like, oh, by the way, I love her. So it's a funny thing, and the story about this song is that John Lennon and Paul McCartney, who wrote this song, they had no idea how to move forward from the verse, and for the life of them, there was nothing that came to mind until the producers said, "Well, you guys are in the studio, you're wasting time. So why don't you go have a tea break?" In England, that's what they have, tea breaks. We would have a coffee break, right? Well, no, they have tea breaks. So, and it was during the tea break that Paul McCartney had this eureka moment, and he left everybody else having a tea break and went back into the studio and wrote the second part of the song, which is the one that sticks in your mind the most. So here we go with "And I Love Her."
Alberto. Beautiful. Maestro. Bravo. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go. All right. Dr. Sue, come on up.
Oh, my goodness. Thank
Yes,
you so
let's
much.
turn this on. There you go.
Hey, hi. Hi, hey. You look familiar.
Yes. Yeah. I'm that guy you
Just
talk to
checking.
sometimes. I'm Steven.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Sue.
Good to meet you.
More formally known as Suzanne.
Really?
Yeah.
Suzanne. Not
that's it.
Susan. Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Okay, Suzanne Ruban. I accept.
Hi,
accept.
Sherry.
Do you know what we're here for? That's it.
How about that?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
impressive.
It is, right? And I had a quote that I was going to save for later, but I thought I would use it right now because it's from Dr. Holmes.
Okay.
Would you read it for us?
The great poets have been true mystics who, through their poems, have revealed the presence of God.
Yes. And this is where I was going to suggest that we read the Ode to Socks.
Okay.
But after Alberto's playing that song, it reminded me to talk about how love songs are always a song to the divine, if we think about it that way.
True.
And true mystics, I mean, come on, the Beatles, right?
That's it.
And so I actually looked up the lyrics
Okay.
for this song. Since it is National Poetry Month, this is poetry.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. I
Okay.
agree.
So I give her all my love. That's totally about spirit, right? That's all I do. If you saw my love, you'd love her too. I love her. And not to get, I mean, it's a little bit of a tangent, but someone told me once that God is definitely a woman because God is smarter than me and God's always right. So this really works. She gives me everything, and tenderly, the kiss my lover brings, she brings to me, and I love her. Totally about spirit. Like a love like ours could never die. Spirit's love is eternal. It never dies as long as I have you near me. Well, how close can spirit ever be? Right? Neck, vein, all that stuff, you know, from the Old Testament. So, bright are the stars that shine, the divine light, and dark is the sky. Even in the darkness, the light of the divine shines. Close your eyes. You close your eyes and you can even see there's still light sparkling even when your eyes are closed in the dark, all right? And I know this love of mine will never die, and I love her.
Thank you. I love you too. Because, first of all, I love the God that is, that which I am and that which thou art.
Exactly.
And there's only one of us here, and it is loving itself. I mean, to me, you, and everything and everyone.
And how amazing this one of us here can do that with all of us and keep doing it over and over again.
Right, and do it while we're putting on our socks.
Bingo. Which brings us to Ode to My Socks by Pablo Neruda. Now, before I tell you this, so what happened was he came back after being a Foreign Service officer back home, and a newspaper asked him if he would do an article for the newspaper, and he said, sure, as long as it's in the headlines, like in the news part of the paper, and not listed with the literary section, because he wanted to let people know that what he was telling was the gospel, was the good news. It was something that needed to be told all the time. So this appeared in the front pages of the newspaper in Caracas. It wasn't down in the buried in the background, all right? So, do you have your copy?
It's on my seat.
I'm gonna go
but
get
that's
it.
okay. I'll read over your shoulder.
Yeah? Okay.
Or under your shoulder,
Well,
more appropriately. That's good.
okay. So, how about I'll go down to Heavenly Socks and you pick up from there.
Okay.
All right. Moru Mori brought me a pair of socks, which she knitted herself with her sheep herder's hands. 2 socks as soft as rabbits. I slipped my feet into them as though into 2 cases knitted with threads of twilight and the pelts of sheep. Outrageous socks. My feet became 2 fish made of wool, 2 long sharks of ultramarine blue, crossed by 1 golden thread. 2 immense blackbirds, 2 cannons. My feet were honored in this way by these heavenly socks.
They were so handsome For the first time, my feet seemed to me unacceptable, like two decrepit firemen unworthy of that woven fire of those luminous socks. Nevertheless, I resisted the sharp temptation to save them as schoolboys keep fireflies, as scholars collect sacred texts. I resisted the wild impulse to tip them into a golden cage, and each day gave them bird seed and pieces of pink melon like explorers in the jungle who hand over the very rare green deer to the spit and eat it with remorse. I stretched out my feet and pulled on the magnificent socks and then my shoes. And
the moral of our ode is this: beauty is twice beauty, and what is good is doubly good when it is a matter of two woolen socks in winter.
Oh, sweet.
Right? So, here we are, with this guy being given these socks. So first off, the idea that it's an everyday thing. What Neruda talks about is everyday things. And odes are a song. An ode is a Greek song. So it's something to be sung. And I love the idea that the everyday thing is worthy of a song. And we forget that sometimes. We're always waiting, I think, for the special moment, for something spectacular to happen. But it's the everyday thing that we get to sing the song to.
so it's always been the battle of the inner world, that which is the sacred, which is something seemingly that as humans we've felt that we had to attain to, come into a deeper knowing. And it's that which I am, the sacred and the profane, the human and the divine. No separation other than what I place upon it because of my ignoring the reality that I choose to be a divine incarnation of the Most High.
Yeah. And he says that I refuse to be. Sometimes we actually do refuse to be it. And I think that's what's so powerful about this one as he's looking at this, is he's looking at it and actually deciding, okay, I'm going to put my feet into these really special socks. Let's see what this is all about, and acknowledge that they feel good and they're gorgeous, and I suddenly feel very powerful. You know, my feet have now become sharks. They're tough. And so what I take from that is this: when we put on our gifts, we put on the talents and skills and actually wear them and own them, we become powerful. And so we're being asked every day to take our gifts and to wear them and to use them and to acknowledge how special they are. You know, my brother goes to Southern Africa a lot to teach, and some of the kids he'll say to them, "That's a lovely sweater you're wearing." And they'll say, "Oh, yes, it is. Thank you for noticing." They wear it and they own it. You know, how often do you see that when you're working with people that they don't own it? What do you tell people when they're saying, you see their gift, you see their beauty, but they're fighting for the limitations? What do you say to them when that happens?
Well, what I say is I know because I do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And through the years and through the discipline of really forming a sense of devotion to that infinite presence and moving from the head into the heart, I've discovered that even through whatever seems disastrous, and certainly there's a lot of that going on everywhere, including in our own personal lives and perspective. So for me, I know that everything about that poem, that ode, is really about my learning the deeper meaning of what acceptance of the true self with the big capital S is all about. And why is it that I deny that which I truly am, or that I find such difficulty in rising to that, and why it also seems easy to do for someone else than for myself. And I can speak to that because on September 11th, I was hit by a car. And here I am. Why? Because of my own human domination? No. Or control? No. What I learned through that is the more you practice when you can, spiritually, the more, as Karen related, to meditation, affirmative prayer, mindfulness, staying in the present moment. Remember Robert Fulghum, hold your hands when you
cross the street.
In kindergarten,
Take a
hold
nap,
hands
have
when you
cookies
cross.
after lunch.
Yeah. So what I learned is do the work now, because it accumulates. It really does come to a point when it's not as easy to do it. It happens. It happens without effort, manipulation, control, pushing, forcing anything to happen. So for me, this whole ode was simply about bringing more of that which is the transcendence of the divine into the everyday living of everything I do, of everything I encounter.
Yeah.
And when I can reach that point, judgment is diminished. I won't say it's eliminated in one fell swoop, although it can be in the twinkling of an eye. And here we are, still telling each other the truth. But when we walk out the door, are we living it, embodying it, practicing it, and applying it? That's my question to you. Are we? Are you? Am I?
That is.
It's rhetorical, but it's the truth.
But it's a good rhetorical question,
Right,
and it's
right.
it's the kind of rhetorical question that you take into self-contemplation, which I really acknowledge that he does in this poem when he talks about the whole decrepit fireman unworthy of these beautiful socks. That's the part you were just talking about. But
Right.
then the other thing that hits me is, and it's happened. I remember when I went to my first meditation workshop, and it was just amazing. And I came back and I told Dr. Arthur, who was my mentor at the time, and I said, I had this meditation. It was so great. It was so lovely. He says, okay, cool. Let it go. I said, I said, but you don't understand. He says, no, I do. Let it go. And that's where he goes here, because he says he has to resist the temptation to save we want to save it and savor it and live in that past space, right? To save it like schoolboys keep fireflies. But what happens when you put the fireflies in the jar? In the morning, they're dead, So why did you do that? Or as scholars collect sacred text, well, that didn't do so good for the guys down in Nagmati. It took 1,500 years for us to uncover these things that were in clay pots that we could have used for a long time. Maybe not even had the Dark Ages had those not been hidden in clay, right, for all that time. I resisted the impulse to put them in a golden cage. And here's the really thing. He says, golden cage, and each day give them birdseed and pieces of pink melon. So not only do we put it away, we dust it off, we shine it up, saving it for the rainy day. Today's the rainy day.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of also? It's, okay, so we're given this gift. Listen, I still have linens from when I was married and crystal from my grandmother.
Right.
So, we can't use that. We'll save it for a special occasion. The special occasion is right here, right now.
Exactly.
And that's how it goes. And one thing that, if nothing has personal relevance to where you are in your life, what's the point of it? So I have been, up to this point, now I'm returning home, but I've been in an assisted living. And I started teaching a meditation class.
So cool.
And what I have...
This is what a surprise.
It is a surprise.
They won't let her go. They won't let her go.
The surprise is the degree of spirituality and the awareness of it is practically nil, because the focus is on that which is in the closet, unworthy, or at some point capturing attention far more compelling if something is going on with your body that isn't functioning effectively and energetically. That's where the attention is. And so it's been a wonderful experience for me not to get caught in, there is a universal law, and that law is impelled by the impression of your own thought. Your thought drops into that subjective mind, and from that, your manifestation appears telling you who you think I can't go there. So
You just did.
I know.
Wow.
That's why I came.
Right, that's why you
today.
came here, so you could talk that talk, right? Yeah.
So it's been get to the basics. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm fine. And then, people are in wheelchairs and on walkers, and the pain is written all over the soul that cries for, I know there's got to be something more. And maybe that's why I'm still there and still teaching beyond my own needs and satisfaction.
And that's the key to it. Yeah.
So.
Right. I had another Ernest Holmes quote. It says that the poet weaves a phrase that moves the heart. And I wanted to throw that out because of you. Because you are a poet that weaves a phrase that moves the heart. What you just did there, and I love you. You're awesome. You're awesome. So back to Pablo for a minute. Okay, now this is a lovely line. I think gets a little lost. Like explorers in the jungle who hand over the very rare green deer to the spit and eat it with remorse. There is this. That's a sacred, holy moment. We're sacrificing something because everything lives and dies. And we live off of stuff that dies. But how often do we honor that? I mean, people don't say grace anymore at their meal. And that was to say, thank you for giving me the nourishment. So there's this part in recognizing the gift, being brave enough to use the gift, to live the gift out into the world. But then, as you expend the gift, it's going to evaporate somewhat, maybe even die because you've extended it out there. And you say, oh, thank you for that.
It keeps coming to mind, we're in a very universal time of coherence because what's going on now is Palm Sunday leading to Good Friday and Easter, Passover, Ramadan, plus many other celebrations within the Hindu, the Buddhist, and the Sikh faith systems. And all of them, if you looked for that's the socks. That's the differentials. But what is the meat that connects them all? You can find within each and every one that seed of perfection, that poetic heart that says we really all are cut from the same cloth. I mean, there is a connecting origin to each and every one of us. And when I put my socks on or I take off those shoes, and feel the relief of those warm socks. And then the socks come off, what do I hold nearest and dearest to my heart? And I agree that to honor and celebrate, years ago, many of you may remember Dr. James Golden, and he used to do meditative retreats here and all over. And one was silent for one whole night, preparing food. And, everybody goes about their own style. Chop, 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 mix, 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 move around, hum a tune. And he would come through and he would just put his hand on your shoulder and say, what would it look like if you were mindful of what you were doing? Cut those carrots evenly. Realize that they've come from the ground and through a whole hierarchy to find you and to nourish you. Treat that with respect. That, too, is God. So the socks, never look at things as they seem to be. Right. Look at them as where they emerge from and the whole chain of causation, really, that has brought them to your feet, to my feet, and the many feet that are without them.
Right. Wow.
So.
Yeah, that's that righteous judgment thing. Don't judge by appearance, judge by the deeper part. And then he rounds it out so sweetly. And the moral of my ode is this. Beauty is twice beauty, and what is good is doubly good when it is a matter of 2 woolen socks in winter. And the in winter part I find really attractive because the gift you have is available for you when you need it. Right. And when you use it, it becomes good again. It becomes beautiful again. As pretty as it is, up on the shelf, dusted off, being fed pink melon and birdseed, it's really nice when you put them on your feet. And really, probably end up with one day a hole in the toe.
Right.
And that's okay too, because you had them in winter, right?
You know, it always reminds me when he mentions double good that everything is created twice, first in mind and then in form. But it goes through an entire journey before getting there, you know? So the two, obviously, why do we teach mind, body, and spirit, conscious mind, subconscious mind effect? Because it takes what it takes not only to recognize the beauty of that which is everyday, the normal, but to give it the touch of that miraculous, of that extraordinary. And somehow that works into what emerges as the next person who shows up in front of you to converse with. We all are teachers for each other. And if I can notice you and everything about you, not just by the appearance of what you're wearing or how you look, if I can look, remember that song, I See the Face of God? You know, and we say all of that stuff, but I would rather we say one thing and stick with it. And my thing has always been, well, not always, but to the point where I got it, God is, I am. So that's what I think. Socks, eyeglasses, toes, eyes, it's all love showing itself in its own unique way.
God is, I am. God is.
Well,
I
that's
am.
the sign of the cross.
That's the sign of the cross.
Literally,
God is.
you know?
Right.
This is what I know, and this is what I do with what I know.
Yeah, right. And we live at the center, at the intersection
Right,
of those
of
two
the-
spaces.
right.
And that's the powerful part. And that's really at the heart of the poem, too, is living at the intersection of all that that is happening.
Yes.
And I get why we don't do it. It's hard. There's so much happening. We talked about that last week, about now and how much potential exists in the now moment, that sometimes we want to run to the past or escape it to the future because
Right.
this present moment is overwhelming.
Exactly.
But it's just a pair of socks. Put them on. You know?
So you know what else just occurred to me, that statement? I don't know if it originates from the physical sciences or not, but what converges rises. So just think, I keep coming back to Easter and Passover and Ramadan. What emerges and converges rises. So what a time to really make sacred the things that you and I are doing every day in our normal lives. Normal. What the hell is normal? There's no such thing anymore, truly.
No, this is
So-
normal is what we do when we're
Right.
living in the present moment. That's
Right.
about as normal as you can get, right?
So brain yourself in. Take the deeper dive. Talking to myself, you know, you're just all here eavesdropping. No, it's true. We're
Don't tell them the
always
secret
talking.
of what we do.
Yeah.
That's the secret of what we do.
Right.
They're all just listening in on a conversation we're having with ourselves,
Right.
which is the self.
So let your, what was that? Let your conversations be in heaven. Take them up to a higher realm within your own consciousness and make it a daily practice, because from that which converges rises. Converge with yourself before you go anywhere to do anything.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's do our affirmation, and then Dr. Sue's going to do the receiving prayer for us, the revealing prayer. So let's all go together. Are you ready? I receive the gift and put it to use, doubling my good, making life twice as nice. And so it is. So I turn it over to you. And Sherry, you guys going to do a prayer?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Hi, baby. We used to be told a lot that we looked alike, and that frustrates my daughter a lot.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all good.
So here we go. Words and music.
Am I starting or are you starting? Me?
So,
There's a silence. Let me make sure I have the right key. Yeah. There's a silence in the stillness of the Holy Spirit. Oh, what a light
so I listen. I listen to that which is the Word of God emerging always through and by means of me, to that precious wholeness of spirit that represents the infinite potential for unlimited life, love, creativity, generosity, and goodness. I am still, and in that stillness, I recognize that God is, I am, and this is the eternal truth for me, and about all.
I am listening to the music of the Holy, Holy Spirit. Oh, what a song God is singing, and I will listen all day long. I will listen all day long.
Be still and know that I am the living presence of the divine. I listen to the words of truth that emerge from the very consciousness of God itself, recognizing itself as that which I am. I am the wholeness of life, the perfection of that which forever is. I am that which is permanent, eternal, changeless, immortal, everlasting, the universal self that in its own creative uniqueness specializes its application of these qualities of infinite good through and by means of me. And the only way I can hear the voice of my true nature is to be still, be silent, and listen to that which speaks through and by means of that which I am.
I am moving to the rhythm of the Holy, Holy Spirit. This chance of life, God inspired, keeps me dancing. My faith is strong, keeps me dancing. My faith is strong.
I dance to that silent song of the universe, the one verse, the one song, the only song that ever has been, is now, and shall forevermore be. The only change is that now I am awake, I am aware, I am alert to its living presence through and by means of myself, by means of all that is, by means of everyone that is. Here, there, and everywhere, God's omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience, and omni-action is moving me into new possibilities, new opportunities to be that which I came forth to be.
There's a silence in the stillness of the Holy, Holy Spirit. Oh, what a light God is being, and I will see it everywhere.
So in the beginning was God, and the Word was, is, and shall evermore be, the Word that the great I Am speaks by means of me. I keep my consciousness awake to the realization that everything matters. My thoughts, my feelings, my actions, my silence, and my spoken word all have impact on what is happening within my personal world and throughout the universe. And so I am mindful, I am filled with the caring, loving awareness of that which God is, I am. And in this moment of sacred attention to that which is the ultimate reality and the infinite good, I now let go, and I simply let God be God by means of me, by means of all that I do. And in so doing, I, as I am lifted, lift all others unto that realization of the true self. In gratitude and acceptance, let us all declare together. And so it is.
Yep, that's it. You got it. Thank you. You good? Okay. Can't even catch up with her to help her down the steps. If you'd like to support our spiritual community, these are the various ways you can do so. The website, text the word GIVE to that number on the screen or call the office. If you're a conscious, an auto tither, when the basket comes by, please give it a blessing for our abundance and prosperity. And now you will see a pledge that we do each week. It's our pledge or affirmation declaration of our personal abundance and abundance of the world. And here we are doing it now at this moment. Ready? Here we go. Divine love. It's doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for the world. Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, and me now. Divine love prevails. Sherry, will you give us the announcements this week?
so grateful for the generosity of the CSL CME community. May this offering go out into the world and make it a better place. And so it is.
So it is. Okay, one more from Mr. Dal Pino.
Thank you. So the third song, I kind of got inspired by the theme today, the Ode to My Socks, in a funny way, because I thought it was something about the mundane, and which it is, but it's also about a lot more. Well, the song that I'm going to play, I don't think it's a lot more. It's the mundane. And the story is, it's called The Mousetrap. And so what can get more mundane than that? But it's an interesting story, because when I first arrived to this country, I didn't have a job and I didn't know anything. And but I got an opportunity to write a jingle. And that was my first job, actually. Unless you consider a job something where you get paid, so then no. And I'll tell you why. Because I was asked by this company that makes mouse traps to write a jingle for their commercial. And I was so happy because it was my first job in the States. And I put my whole heart into it. And I came up with this song that I thought it was just right for the job. And I went back to the man, the CEO of the company, and I played the song for him. And he looked at me like, "Are you an idiot? What were you thinking? This song is too jazzy. We need something catchy and simple." So, you know, it's a sad story after all, because I didn't use this song for so many years. And now 28 years later, I decided to take this song out of my forgotten songs, so to speak, in the drawer, and I polished it a little bit, and I think it's a great song. And I think, as I thought back then, this song speaks about a mouse and a trap that is supposed to work. So here we go with the mousetrap.
All right, everyone. Now we're going to get busy. We have had some lovely people. Deborah, can we strike this chair? Who have served our community in an official capacity without an official recognition of said capacity. And we're going to fix that today. We're going to make it official. So I present to you our 2 new staff ministers and our 3 newest practitioners. Please come forward. Reverend Robert Thompson, Reverend Nancy Fuller, Practitioner Marianne Giblin, Elaine Ocasio, no, this one, and Practitioner Karen Batten. So, don't they look good? So, governing members, families, visitors, boards of trustees, and practitioners, thank you for being here to witness this auspicious occasion for our community. We are here to officially recognize Reverend Robert Thompson and Reverend Nancy Fuller as staff ministers at our center. These 2 magnificent reverends of religious science, licensed by the Centers for Spiritual Living, have demonstrated their dedication to our community in ways too numerous to list in total this morning. However, you know as I do that they have brought a valuable depth of spirituality and service and joy to our community. A staff minister at our center presents spiritual truth and teachings at our services, performs other ministerial functions as deemed necessary by the spiritual leader, like teaching classes, facilitating workshops, leading services, supporting our youth, and provides time and energy to the compassionate care ministry and remains ever available to you, our community. Reverend Robert Thompson, you are familiar with the Declaration of Principles of our, sometimes known as What We Believe?
I am.
Okay. And do you accept the principles and promise to adhere to them as a basis for your teaching?
I do.
Reverend Nancy Fuller, the same. Do you accept the declarations of principles and adhere to them as a basis for your teaching? I do. Okay. Do you both so dedicate yourself to be constantly aware of the Spirit within all people, and that you will see only the perfect spiritual person, perfect mind, perfect spirit, perfect body?
We do.
Do you promise to minister faithfully and lovingly to the people of the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, to seek ever to be an example of moderation, patience, and loving kindness?
Yes.
And to the community, the governing members, families, trustees, practitioners that are here, would you please stand for a moment? All of you. All of you. That's everybody. You're either a governing member, a family member, or a visitor, or a practitioner. So it's all of you guys.
All y'all.
All y'all is the voice of this community. You are the very backbone as the volunteers in service to this community, because you voluntarily come here, right? So, do you promise to uphold the vision of this center and the principles for which it stands?
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, if you have a differing opinion or find yourself in conflict, do you promise to meditate first, think secondly, seek spiritual support from a minister or practitioner, and then finally just speak out loud? Do you promise to do that?
Yes.
All right. Do you promise to give your time, talent, and treasure to this beloved Center for Spiritual Living?
Yes.
Excellent. All righty. And do you pledge your support for these 2 beloved ministers before you? Yes. You may be seated. So, I say yes. They say yes. So, through the power vested in me by the Center for Spiritual Living, headquartered in Golden, Colorado, and acting on behalf of this congregation, I now hereby install you, Reverend Robert Thompson, and you, Reverend Nancy Fuller, as staff ministers for the Centers for Spiritual Living with all the rights and privileges pertaining to such role. Congratulations.
Yay.
Come here, you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll have you stand over here for a second.
We did it.
You did. You're doing it. You're doing it. Now, to these three powerful, relatively new members of our ecclesiastical team, practitioners Karen Batten, Marianne Giblin, and Elena Cascio. However, Karen and Marianne and Elaine are far from new to the center. They've kind of been birthed here. They left, went on their prodigal journey, and they're back. We're so grateful to have you. Each has chosen a path in life that is and ever shall be rich in experience and replete with fulfilling, beautiful spiritual discoveries. The professional licensed practitioner supports those seeking spiritual guidance in knowing the wholeness of spirit, soul, and body. And each of these women are well prepared for this charge. Your deep understanding of life's principles of human nature and your compassion and empathy toward all who look to you as a living demonstration of our teaching and the practice of spiritual mind healing will find themselves well served by you. I know by your being a licensed practitioner of religious science, licensed by the Center for Spiritual Living, that you are aligned with and dedicated to the principles of our teaching. Now today, we are blessed to recognize that same level of commitment to our community, the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, as we officially install you in service. Are you ready? Yes. Okay. Do you, Karen Batten, Elaine Cascio, Marianne Giblin, dedicate yourself to faithfully meditate and diligently study in order that you may expand the consciousness of your practice here at the center and in your professional practice as well?
Yes.
Okay. Do you so dedicate yourself to do the utmost to reflect at all times the spirit of spiritual truth?
Yes.
Do you so dedicate yourself to be constantly aware of the spirit within all people, and that you will see only the perfect spiritual person, perfect mind, spirit, and body?
Yes.
Do you commit yourself to absolute confidentiality, keeping inviolate the identity and confidences of those who come to you for help, unless you receive their explicit consent to do otherwise?
Yes.
As loyal governing members of the Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley, will you uphold and support this center and CSL worldwide through spiritual mind treatment?
Yes.
To the community, I ask you as the governing members, to you, the voice of this community, do you pledge your support for these three dedicated practitioners before you now?
We do.
Yes.
All righty. Through the authority invested in me by the Center for Spiritual Living at Golden, Colorado, and on behalf of our congregation, I now officially install you as practitioners at our center with all the rights and privileges and obligations appertaining to such role. Congratulations. All right, this is so great. Now, I'm springing this on her, but I would like Dr. Sue, if you would just please give a blessing, a blessing to their call and to their joining in service to our community.
Okay. So in this most divinely auspicious moment, I know that there is no separation. The practitioners and the ministers who seem to be standing here are of that same highly elevated, unique divine consciousness as everyone who is seated. I know that there is only one power, one life. It is the life of the divine, the infinite God, spirit, whatever one chooses to name it. It is nameless. It is good and very good. And its purpose is service. Service through prayer, through elevated awareness of God's presence, through mindfulness, through that which personifies wholeness, health, harmony, prosperity, joy, creativity, and even temperedness, so that under any and all circumstances, what kicks in as the driving force within and through and as all is the consciousness of God as ministering to, as practicing the presence of God in, through, and at all times, under all circumstances. So this truly is a distinctly unique, holy instant that infills and infuses each one ever more fully with the awareness of living and practicing the presence of God. This is for one, this is for all, because it is God in all, through all, as all. And in this devotional, sacred moment, I would like to ask also for the total agreement of all present and those hearing beyond the sound of my voice to accept and give thanks that this is the truth by declaring, and so it is.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Sue. Thank you. Thank you so much. Stay here. We're going to all stand. We'll do our closing benediction. We'll sing our last song, and here we are. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love. Sherry. Beautiful. Yay! Rocking it.
Love be with you, peace unfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make it flow to you, let joy renew you, till we meet again. Love be with you, ooh, love be with you, ooh, love be with you.
Thank you. Karen will be available for prayers. We'll be under the exit sign for that. I think Karen Dell can share with the newcomer package if you need those. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being a service to our community.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on.
What's
What?
going on
Don't
here?
go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I don't know. What's that? There's more.
Something's happening.
But wait,
What's happening?
There's more.
Wait, there's more. This just in.
This just in.
2 pillows if you buy one now. Oh, what?
So I think Reverend Stephen alluded to a very special day yesterday. And so 11 years ago, I first met Reverend Stephen down at Founders when Jim, on our second date, took me to church.
Go, Jim. That's it.
And I immediately was drawn to Reverend Stephen and his message and his personality, and I've been lucky enough to get to know him very well. And what really struck me is that the special relationship I feel like I have with him, he makes each and every one of us feel that way. That he has this very unique, special relationship with each one of us, and he makes us feel so heard and seen. Plus, he has a fantastic sense of humor that he brings every day. So just happy birthday, Reverend Stephen. This is a little something from your congregation. The bowl didn't come in time, so there's a bowl that's going to be coming too. We have a little something in here, so you a massage certificate, so you can relax and rejuvenate.
Ooh.
And then there's a little extra in there, so you can. I know you're doing a fundraiser for whatever you can.
Thank you.
So
Thank
happy
you, dear.
birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Madam President. That's so sweet. And I just want to say, someone came up to me last week after I talked about the cracked bowl. When we get the new bowl, we're going to keep the cracked bowl because they were saying that the cracked bowl is unique in its own space and its own tonality is important to us, and that we all vibrate sometimes a little cracked. So, it's to honor the perfected, the imperfect, perfect part of all of us. So we're going to have an extra bowl is what we'll have. That's sweet. All right.
Happy
Okay.
birthday
Oh, my.
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
so much. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I have no words. How about that? I know, it's amazing. No words.
Visit Alberto at his table outside. I don't remember what day it was, and I didn't notice what time it was. All I know is that I fell in love with you, and if all my dreams come true, I'll be spending time with you. Every day's a new day in love with you. When each day comes a new way of loving you, and every time I see your face, my mind starts to wander. If all my dreams come true, I'll be spending time with you. I love you more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. I love you more today than yesterday, but only I'm as much as tomorrow. Tomorrow's day means springtime, just the day away. And Cupid, we don't need